How's it hanging, YouTube? Welcome back to Brad Buddy and another episode of the crustiest bike on Craigslist. Today we are going to be rebuilding the front forks and getting those all squared away and fresh and ready to rip. Stay tuned, y'all. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is remove the front wheel. That exposes the axle nut right there. That is a 22. Actually, first we need to get the pinch bolts. You have to take them out, just loosen them. These forks were definitely in a bind. Hopefully my bike's not gonna fall now. Yup, of course. Just put that there for right now. Alright, I got the rear tire on there to kind of balance it out. Now we're going to need to take off the brake caliper and brake line. That's a T5, by the way, right here. 12 millimeter. I always like to put the bolts back on the way they came out so I don't forget how they were attached. Next, I'm going to remove the handlebars so that I can get to the top cap. These are 10 millimeter, by the way. Alright, now we got the handlebars out of the way. Alright, you don't take it off all the way. You just want to get it loose. This one's a little boogered up over here. I'll put the Dremel on it. Alright, so I did a little bit of grinding with the Dremel, and now we are good to go. Now we can loosen the pinch bolts and slide the forks out. You don't have to take them all the way out, just gotta loosen them. These are 10 mil, by the way. There's one. There's the other. Alright, next we're gonna take one of the fork legs, doesn't matter which one, and we'll release the compression all the way. There it is right there. Now we want to take the fork cap off the rest of the way. You want to make sure and flip it at least somewhat vertical for this process, for this step, because the next step is dumping out the fork oil. Alright, so what I did was push the fork tube down off the cap. I'm kind of holding it so it's kind of hard to show it. And the lighting sucks. But now, through this little gap, oh, what a surprise. There actually is some oil in there. The way these were reacting, I didn't think there'd be any oil left in them at all. Alright, now that we've got it drained, we need to push this spring down, and up underneath this cap there's a little nut, and it's a 17 millimeter. And you're gonna need a box wrench. It's a really thin area you can squeeze in there with. You get your wrench on the top cap. We'll inspect this rubber O-ring, make sure it's good. Inspect the threads, clean this up. Next we pull up the cap. As you can see there's a little rust. Ooh, you got a little washer in there too, watch out. Probably going to clean this rust up. And now you can pull the spring out. clean that as well. Now I want to take the dampening rod, dump out whatever oil is left. Remove the dampening rod very carefully. You clean that as well. And you're going to want to pump out the rest of the oil. Whoa there, be careful. This process could take you a while. Alright, so next we need to remove the dust seal. Just a little screwdriver. Just push up. And you're gonna see a little wave clip. You wanna find the end of it, put a screwdriver down in one of the slots, and pry it out. Be careful with your slippery glove. Alright, so I don't know if y'all can see that, but I've gotten it loose right there. I'm just gonna work my way around until it comes out. Okay. And make sure not to scratch your inner fork stanchion, and then you just spread it. You got your wave clip out. And this one is extremely crusty. Now we can pull the fork stanchions apart and try to dump a little oil out, and we should just be able to slide hammer it out. So as you can see, I got the inner and outer fork tube stanchion split apart off camera. I just didn't feel like recording 15 minutes of me hammering away at this thing, but ended up putting the axle through the bottom of the fork leg, putting my foot on it, and then just yanking it up. It still took me like 10 tries, but you can tell kind of what the deal was. This fork seal is like corroded and like crusty on here. I don't know if you guys can see that well, but I'm dripping oil everywhere. Yeah, now we can go ahead and remove these bushings. These split bushings, you spread them, and they are a little beat up. As you can see, there's a little split right there. Another bushing. We got our washer. And we got our fork seal. Trying to remember the spring goes towards the bottom, and then our dust seal here at the bottom. Now we're ready for reassembly. For reassembly, we've got our Pivot Works complete fork rebuild kit. Comes with all the seals, dust seals, all the bushings and all that good stuff. Alright, so as you can see, we've got our fork legs cleaned up. We've got our old set of seals and bushings right there, and our new set right here, lined up in the correct order, ready to go on. Now I've got a plastic bag that I've ripped in half. Gonna put that over the top of the fork stanchion, the inner stanchion here, to protect the seals from getting torn up during install. I want to get a little bit of grease. Grease this up just so it's a little bit easier. And then install. Slide that bad boy on down to the bottom. Next, we're going to take the wave clip, and you can just kind of spread that, throw that on there. Next, we got our fork seal. Get a little dab of grease, and same thing. Next, we're going to install a washer right there. And then the small bushing and the large bushing. Boom. Okay, so now we are going to install the outer fork tube stanchion. Slide it on in there. And slide the new fork seal up in there with all that good stuff. Now is for the cool part. So what I did was I took the old fork seal I just took out, cut about 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch out of it there with a Dremel tool, as you can see, or whatever you got to cut. Make sure you put it on in the same direction you would normally do it, and you're just going to spread it, push it back closed, and actually I'm going to use the wave clip for this, and I'll smash it. But what we're going to do is basically use the old seal as a seal driver, and then we're going to remove it and we'll be good to go. First I'm going to just push slow, try to get this fork seal up in there before I just start hammering away at it. Alright, now that I got it up, I should be able to just kind of hammer it in there. Alright, now that we've got our new seals and bushings on there, go ahead and slide the dampening rod down into the fork leg there. I'm going to take our, whatever the hell this is called. Can't remember right now, I'm blanking out. Slide that back into the middle of the dampening rod. And we're going to take our oil, it's 568 cc's. Go ahead and start filling this guy up right here. I've just done 250 to start with. Now you want to go ahead, pull the outer fork stanchion up 2 cycles. I'm going to grab the dampening rod. You can hear it sucking that oil in. That's how you know you're doing it right. You start to feel more tension on it. You just want to work that oil in there. Alright, it honestly sounds like it's time to add some more oil. So we're going to add 268 more to the 250 already in there. Gonna take a little guesswork with the ratio right, that's fine. There we go. Ooh, yummy. Y'all hear that? Oh yeah. Got a lot more tension on the dampening rod now. A lot of people say you're supposed to check your oil level. That takes this little special kind of syringe kind of deal, and you put it in the top and it hangs down and you measure it, and I just don't do all that. I just fill it up with what the manual says to fill it up with. 568 cc's of oil. Make sure it's bled properly, like we're doing right now. Make sure there's no air going through when you're doing this. It should just sound like liquid flowing through valves, which it does, and then you're good to go. Push it down to the bottom. Get your spring out. See, I pull the dampening rod up first, then put the spring on. Then we can get
3 days later.
So as you can probably tell from the different clothes, it's like a couple days later, and I was about to put the top cap back on, and I realized that my bumpers had basically disintegrated. So I had to order some new ones, and we're going to switch those in real quick and then put the forks back on. Top cap back on to just kind of hold everything together. Alright, so we got our top cap, then our little spacer with our little plastic washer down in the bottom, the lip pointed upwards. Got our new bumper. It's kind of tapered on one end. That's going to face towards the bottom of the fork, and then you just kind of push that in there like so, and get that in there. And this is going to start to fall back down, so you kind of got to be careful. You can get too far down in there, and then it'll be hard to get it back up. It's a race against time, so it's already fallen too far. There we go. Push this down, get the wrench back in there, and tighten this bad boy up. course, you're going to want to do this on your other fork if it has a bad bumper as well. Slide that back up. All right, let's put these forks on. Get this tightened up a little bit for right now. Just hold it. Now we put this other bad boy on. Try to make them about even with each other. That's how you rebuild the forks on a 2003 YZ125. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Crustiest Bike on Craigslist. It's been a pleasure having you here. If you're new, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more two-wheel related content. Thanks for wrenching on brappies with me today, y'all. Until next time.